Welcome back, everybody, to the
I'm
CHG
back.
podcast. Yes, Dave. I mean, it's not like you were gone that long. Um,
Well, it felt like forever.
I
So
mean, it's been forever since we've done it. I guess since we've actually
yeah,
recorded.
yeah,
You've only been away for a week. It's not that long. But
yeah.
yeah, David's back in the co-host spot. He was out for last week, but he's back for this week. Um, to get back onto it. So we're
Did
just
you
gonna
miss
get
me?
I know. So we're just gonna get right into it. David, it's been quite a while since we've talked, and
Yes.
so have you had a chance? Are you still not playing any games, or have you actually had a chance
I
to
uh,
play
I
something?
so I took I there was the free Madden weekend for opening week of the
Was it
football
really?
season.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I played Madden
And
and it's sucks.
sucks.
Yeah. It's it's the I mean it's the exact same as last year.
Yep.
Like there might be new animations, but it as long as it's on the Frostbite engine, it's gonna the player movement sucks. The uh, all the canned animations suck. Like the reason why the Frostbite engine doesn't work for sports games is
Oh.
because what was the Frostbite engine made for?
Okay. So I was actually going to ask about that. So it
Yeah,
wasn't it originally made for Battlefield?
Battlefield 3.
Well,
Way back.
they've done Frostbite 2 and 3. They've reiterated
Yeah,
a
they've
lot.
updated. Well, yeah, but they've updated it, but it's not a new engine even. Like they're just updating
So
the
is
Frostbite
it like
engine.
is it kind of a similar thing with Fallout in their engine? How like it's like updated but it's still the same?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
From what I understand,
Okay.
I could be wrong, but from what I understand, but the reason, but like that's not even the big thing. Like, because it works. Like Battlefield 1 was good. Battlefield 5 was good for the Frostbite engine, but it's meant for first-person shooters. So like the movement in it is just not fluid because it's meant to like be played in first person, so that like feeling of building momentum while running
Hmm.
is different in first person than it is in third person moving just a guy around. So it's all like just like weird, like almost like you're like driving like with your head. Like the guy will like you'll tell the guy to lean like to go a different direction, so he'll like go like lean with his upper body to like move.
Hmm.
Like it's
Interesting.
it's such awkward movement, and like they'll do stupid things like your leg will just like clip uh an offensive lineman, and so you'll just be like, oh, like it's
Oh,
just bad.
that reminds me. Actually, I didn't see any like at least big posts on the publications about this year with because every year wasn't like for a big string of years upon a Madden release it was always the bevy of just glitches
Oh no,
and stuff that
it's
people.
just as bad.
But I didn't see anyone talking about it this time.
Uh,
I'm
then
sure it was all over
maybe you
Twitter,
weren't just
but
looking then, because
dang, I thought I was
so
suspecting that. I
so
didn't see it this
there's a
year.
couple glitches that have been popping up. A lot of crashes both on the next gen systems and on PC are happening a lot. And
Oh,
then there's a couple glitches that were happening in last year's Madden that are happening again in this year's Madden. Particularly one that always kind of that has like a big one is like sometimes the ball will like ride on the top of a player's helmet, and they can just like run and the ball will just be on the top of the player's helmet as he runs, and
what?
like you can carry it all the way downfield. Like you should
What?
look it up. It's hilarious. And then
All
okay,
right.
and then so like their big thing was like updating franchise mode, which they did add one feature that updates franchise mode. I won't get too far into it, but it's pretty shallow. They're also going to be adding a scouting feature, but like they're adding it after, which is super weird. Like, and they haven't told us when it's gonna be in the sit. Like, so I hope it's great. I hope that it revolutionizes scouting and it's fun again. But odds are, if they even get to it, won't be good. But one thing that was really funny, and Angry Joe,
Oh,
I watched Angry
oh,
Joe's review of it.
I saw his thumbnail. I didn't watch it because I already know what it was going to be. I already
Yeah.
know he was
So
going to
he
rip
he
into it.
brought up something. He brought up something hilarious.
Uh huh.
So in franchise mode,
Okay.
which was, yeah, I don't know if you remember last year, that was like the whole fixed franchise mode tag.
I think you told me, but I don't know.
It was huge. Anyway, it was like number 2 trending.
Okay.
And so like they came out like, oh, we're gonna fix franchise mode and blah blah blah. And again, it's the same thing. Like nothing other than they added coaching trees in that which was in the game prior. They just added it back in with some stuff, and they're not even like real offensive and defensive coaches, but that's a whole another tangent. But the thing that he brought up is the interface, like the UI system for franchise mode was updated. They update it every year to be a little bit different. It's just fluff, right? So like whatever, it's just a new UI. But the hilarious thing is as the game loads in, for like half a second, you can see the old last year's UI pop up.
What?
And then it loads in the new UI. So they literally have the old last year's UI in the game still.
Okay.
Like it's the same code.
I want to ask, did you notice that yourself?
Yeah, I saw it one time.
Okay. I guess that's proof that when it comes to things like these annual type of releases, they definitely just reuse code and reuse assets.
And that was shown before. In 21, there was this whole article that came out from this YouTube guy that they used the same, a lot of the same assets in a couple of the, like, it was practice mode, so like but still like they clearly just copy pasted.
Mm-hmm. Which I mean, on the developer's point of view, I can't be entirely mad at them. I mean, well, it's a yearly release, and I can imagine how tough it is.
And yeah, like that's fine
to do it.
But the thing is that they still had Madden 20 on the asset, like it said.
Okay,
Madden 2020.
How did that get? Okay, and
exactly.
That still then goes to my point though about the fact of just like that's one of the problems with these yearly releases.
Oh yeah,
because like you would ask like how did this not get caught? How did this get passed? Blah blah blah, QA blah blah blah, and it's like, I mean with a game where it's yearly, which means they have less than a year to actually make it, which means they probably have 9-10 months to actually make the game, and so I could see that getting passed. Like either getting approved or getting missed entirely.
And we can like as the franchise community, which is really the people complaining about the game, like we understand that. But then when the last 2 years, they have added 2 new game modes to the game that are monetary based game modes. So they had the time to make 2 new game modes instead of fixing.
Well, again, this isn't. I can't blame DICE. I can't. Wait, I'm sure it's not. Is it DICE making? Does DICE make it?
Tiburon.
Or is it Tiburon? Okay.
Tiburon.
I can't. Is it Tiburon? Okay.
I think I pronounced it Tiburon.
I can't blame them because they're only doing it at the behest of the EA publishing part of the whole thing.
But it used to be good. I don't know.
I would love for them to skip a year, like they did with Battlefield a couple times. I would love for them to try that. It's never
going to happen.
But it would never happen because football's year round all the time, and they have to capture that. But I honestly, I would love to see what would happen if they did that.
Well, a lot of the community's kind of fear right now is NCAA.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, like
I was going to ask you.
If NCAA is just a college skin on Madden, there will be riots. Like we've been waiting for this for so long that
I feel
there will be blood
on the streets. I was going to ask you about that because I like with how much mediocrity Madden has been, because I think that's the best way to wrap up Madden in the last at least half decade. It's just mediocrity, right? Mm-hmm. It's just same old. I mean, yeah, you could say it's passable. It does the job, but it's compared to all other types of game franchises, it's just mediocre across the board.
Especially because like NBA 2K, although it has its own problems, still puts out a game that is representative of the sport they're trying to portray. Yeah. MLB comes out every year.
MLB's That movie kills it
is pretty good
every year.
Even their old freaking franchises, FIFA and NHL, are decent representations of the games that they're trying. Madden's the only one that just like, this isn't football. This does not look or play like football.
Madden seems to be the only one that's still behind the times. I mean, even NHL, where in a lot of states in the U.S., like it's just get passed over, and they still seem to give more care to NHL. I mean, NASCAR. I think EA has NASCAR. Do they?
I can't remember who has Heat. I don't know who does Heat.
Maybe
they used to have NASCAR.
I'll just ignore. I'll get away from that. But yeah, Madden seems to be the last one that just doesn't want to. They just don't seem to care. I mean, it could honestly be because, I mean, there's people like you and the franchise people who care, and they'll go to Twitter and spit blood and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you worked at GameStop. I worked at GameStop. The masses probably just don't care. And that's a shame. It's a shame. It's because they should. Because I feel if the masses started actually caring as much as you and the actual people who want to be critical care, then you might have had those changes 5, 6, 7 years ago. But I think that's where the problem really lies. You have the casuals don't care because that's why they're casuals. Because you're not, when it comes to Madden, the CHG part flips completely on his head. Like, I am no longer the hardcore guy. You are the hardcore one, and I'm the casual.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just what it. But we're gone too far on this one.
What have you been playing, RJ?
I started God of War 2018. Fucking finally!
Oh my god! Finally. Just in time for our topic of conversation today.
Kinda. But I finally started God of War. I've been playing. I had just wrapped up another indie racing game that was pretty garbage. It was called Aqua Motojet Racing, and it was supposed to be like a jet ski racing game, akin to Wave Racer.
Yeah, right. I was about to say Wave.
On first glance, it kind of makes you think of that. And when I first played it, I was thinking like, okay, it's not bad because it turns okay. Like it's not too stiff. The tricks, like you could trick and stuff, and like the water physics actually are, for an indie developer, pretty good, if I have to be honest. But it's so bare bones. It's so repetitive. It's so boring. The trophies are so mundane, and there's
like no grinding. Mountain Dew special character.
There's no what?
You didn't know that?
What?
In the first Wave Racer. Or okay, one of the Wave Racers.
Tell me that off camera because I need to know this. Okay. But yeah, there's none of that. They actually did have a they actually somehow got a partnership with some actual professional jet skier. I don't know her name. It was like she's from Sweden. She has like a Swedish name.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember.
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that that's a thing because
they
that's
actually
a thing
got
for
her
everything.
in the game.
But
they got her. I was like, how? Like, was her fee not that much or something? Like,
I mean, let's be honest, probably not. Like, it's not like she's pulling down LeBron James.
Bro, she has like hella tournaments and stuff. When she's like I guess she's like the top acclaimed jet skier in the world or something.
I didn't know that was a professional sport. Like
well, okay.
Like I'm
whatever.
Like, I probably could have guessed because everything's a professional sport, but like at the same time, I wasn't conscious of it.
Hey, some people don't know esports are a thing.
That's true.
So to each their own.
True.
But yeah, I mean, it was that. So like that. I finally got done with that. I had played another indie game called Raji and Ancient Epic, which was interesting. It was like it was a 3D, but like the camera was way far back, so your character is really small. But it was like a 3D action platformer, which wasn't bad. But yeah, after I was like, okay, it's time to bust in a AAA game. It's time to play play a big boy game. No more of these little indie titles. So I was like, what do I got? What do I got? So I was like, well, I think it's time to play God of War. Putting it off way too long. So I popped it in, and I've played probably 2 hours so far within a couple of days. And yeah. They turned it more into I mean, I know God of War was always third person, but like
I know what you mean. Like a third person.
It was more. The camera was a little more panned out.
Oh yeah,
kind of
huge,
almost over top.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I still play God of War, no problem. But now it turned into like a legit third person action adventure game, which is like right up my alley.
Yeah.
That's really like
cool.
that's my preferred gameplay like kind of game. And that's why like if even indie games, if they are third person and like kind of kind of, I mean, even if the story's not good, but like story focused, like objective focused, action adventure type of thing, I will look at it at least. I am a sucker for those. So like the fact that they turned this into that and like so many collectibles to find, and I was like, oh god, my collectibles.
Just
I
wait until
love
you
my
start getting like
collectibles.
the armor and stuff, like different armors you
Um
can get for him. It's
yeah, so like
pretty dope.
I met the merchants that to buy armors and stuff and upgrading them and everything and exploration and they're doing the thing where like in third person action games where like you don't have the equipment yet to like do this thing or like you're too weak to do this thing yet, so they go
The
keep up and come
Metroidvania
back.
style stuff.
Yeah, the replay, going back, replayability stuff, going back to what you
It's
couldn't do before.
it's very
I
good.
mean, you think of Metrovania, which is rightfully so, but I think of like Ratchet and Clank and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's where I go to when I think of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same idea. So like, it's just right up my alley. I mean, God of War was already a game I already played. I played them all, so God of War was already a game I like to play. But now this one is like, yeah, I like this direction it's
Well,
going.
like for me, it's like the difference between like it's not this drastic, but like I had played other Zelda games. Like I played Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. It was okay and stuff like that. But the changes they made into Breath of the Wild between formula and stuff just made it so much better for me personally. And I think it's the same thing as God of War. Like it's the same game. Like there's still everything, that God of War was, but now it's just slightly like just more accessible to me
A
and more
bit, yeah.
focused. So like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I loved it. Like that those are two game
Oh, I
franchises
know.
where I've played the previous ones that are
Mm-hmm.
heralded. But I personally didn't like it. And then I played this one and I was just like, these are like two of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I know Breath of the Wild for you. Yeah, I was with you when you had played it a little bit, and I was at your house, and you were still getting used to things. I was watching you play it,
Yeah.
and I was like, I know exactly why David loves this type of game.
Yeah, it was great.
It is so much it was good because Zelda's always been a type of game that tries to like do different things while still keeping the Zelda formula intact.
Oh.
But Breath of the Wild, like totally, it was like, okay, let's think of like all the modern type of how modern gaming is, but like let's Zeldify it,
And do
and they
everything
did,
amazing. Just
and
like we're gonna
then
take
also yeah,
we're gonna take a
and then
little
do it
bit
so
of
much
this, a
better.
little bit of this, a little bit of this. Oh yeah, then
So
it's
that
just like mwah,
put
it
that in
all
the oven,
works.
put that in the oven for an hour, take that out, mwah, chef's kiss. But yeah, so that's what I'm playing. It's going to be a great time. The platinum trophy is I read was super easy, which is the cherry on top for me.
100% is
You don't
not
even
though.
no. There's no extra trophies. That is
Wait, no,
100%.
what I mean
Platinum
by
trophy is
like,
100%.
do you
Oh
have to kill all the
yeah,
Valkyries?
mm-hmm.
Because I heard
The thing
that's
is, you could
hard.
play. So did I, but you could play on easy mode, so it's fine.
Oh,
That's what makes it easy. You can do the whole
gotcha,
game on easy mode,
gotcha.
and it's fine. And it seems to be a wave of what PlayStation's been doing now, at least with their AAA games, is not adding difficulty trophies anymore to their games. Last of Us 2 doesn't have it. God of War doesn't have it. I don't think Marvel has it. And their new Ratchet and Clank game doesn't have it. Some people complain about it because it's almost too easy, and I can at least see what they're talking about. At least with Ratchet and Clank, it was almost like because it doesn't. God of War at least wants you to do everything the game has to offer, which I'm totally for that.
Yeah.
But Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, it doesn't have you do that. Where every other game, it kind of had you do that. So people were kind of like what the fuck, like what like what's going on? Like at least you could. It's still easy, but like force the players to have to like do a challenge mode run or have to like upgrade some weapons to the max level or something, which is not hard. It's not even that grindy because the game is really fun to play. But they didn't do that. So you can honestly beat the game in like one playthrough,
Yeah.
and it's like and us Ratchet faithfuls are like, this isn't how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
This is not my Ratchet. But anyways, that's a trophy tangent. I'll move on. So yeah, so that's what we're playing, guys. So we're gonna move on to our little fun question of the day. Which David, did you have a chance to read it? I
Yeah.
sent it to you,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
never said
Yeah.
anything back. Good. Okay, so today we're gonna. I was thinking like a more outside the box question, and so what I was thinking of was, out of all the systems that you did not have, which for most people you didn't have most of the systems, either because you were born way after they were out, or because most people can only have one console of one generation at a time. So like out of all those you didn't have, which one which one do you wish you had the most? And I'll start off with might surprise some people. Um, Out of all the consoles that I wish I could have had, it would actually have to be the original Xbox. And it's a little bit surprised because I'm a huge Sony guy, I'm mainly a Sony guy. And I say the original Xbox, not the 360, but the original Xbox. And I say that mostly because, um, as a lot of kids, probably you as well, I grew up being, playing demos and demo kiosks in like Targets and Walmarts and literally any store with an electronics section.
Yep.
That's where I was
You go,
going.
you go into a Walmart,
Yeah,
and then you're just like, "Mom, I'll be in electronics," and you just,
yeah, you know where to
well,
find me, Mama.
I knew the exact pathway. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
knew
the exact route.
you cut through the female clothing. You just cut right through that. You cut through baby
Cut right through it.
supplies, and
Take a right.
bam, you're right there.
Electronic section. Give me that kiosk right now. Yeah, I knew
I
where
was
my
always
Walmart
so
one was
pissed that
too.
there was another kid on it too. I'd be like, "You
Oh no.
motherfucker!"
I know. So like, you have to watch and then like wait, and who knows how long they're gonna take.
And
And
if
some
he,
kid might be an
oh man,
asshole.
if he finished up a demo and started a new demo, oh,
You better cut off that.
dude, I'm looking for that poor 18-year-old employee in the electronics section and be like, this motherfucker.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, even my mom liked to go to Sears a lot, and Sears back in the day did have an electronics section.
Yeah.
So and Sears is boring as
There
hell.
used to be Sears back in the day.
I know. Hey, kids, there used to be Sears back in the day. But yeah, Sears even back then was boring.
Yep.
So I would go up there, up the elevator. Ours had an elevator. Go up there,
Escalator.
like I'm just there the whole that one. I'm just going up that, and I'm just like, that's where I'm going to be the whole time because this place is boring as shit. But yeah, so Xbox, I played the Xbox kiosk a lot, and it had a whole bunch of cool demos to play from. And I honestly don't remember a lot of them, but I had enough fun times and good times playing those demos that I honestly would not mind having having had an Xbox at the time. I had a PS2, naturally, as no surprise to nobody, but I had a PS2 and Travis had a GameCube. So no one and my other friend had a PS2. So no one I really knew or was like hanging out with frequently had an Xbox. So I never really got to even play one at extended period of time beyond kiosks. But like, I mean, the only game I really remember, like really, really remember is Amped, that snowboarding game. And I loved it because I just loved snowboarding games at the time, especially then. And I didn't understand how to play it at all. I remember I was able to do some moves. And like, you remember the original Xbox controller had like not the really fat one. I mean, the one they, but whatever. It had a white and a black button.
Yep.
I have no idea what those are, what they were for, but they did tricks in Amped, and I loved pressing it for some reason, along with the shoulder buttons, and doing who knows what I was gonna do. Like that was like the best part. I didn't know what I was gonna do. But I always wish I could have had Amped growing up, and I'm sure there's all types of like quirky exclusive games that were for the Xbox and stuff that I would have loved to have played. So for me, it is the original Xbox. What is yours, David?
So I have one that is more traditional and one that's kind of a cop out, but I'll start with the traditional one. So like I didn't have a lot of options growing up for that stuff. So like I had everything late, or it was like somebody else's. But I would say probably the 64. It's just because the 64 had so many classic games on it, and I didn't have any of that. Like when the 64 was like big, I think towards the end of that, like the PlayStation 2 had come out, and then I was able to buy a PlayStation 1. So like, yeah, I didn't do any Nintendo like 64 at all. Like my friend had it, and we played it over there a lot, and I knew it was like the coolest thing to me was like, get those weird, Trident controllers that I didn't know how to grip, and getting my ass kicked at GoldenEye. But yeah, so like probably the 64 just because of how many classic games on it. But really, I think looking back, like I wanted like I think I would have liked a PC, like a good like gaming PC that I could have played because
Back in the day
back
or
in the
now?
day. Now, like I know that's why it's kind of a cop out, like because like I love RTSs. I love
Oh yeah,
RTSs, and
major
like
strategy game.
yeah,
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
RTSs and my
Mhm.
strategy games, and just like to this day, I tried to get a new game called Humankind, which is like
I think I heard
a
of that.
competitor to Civ. It's basically Civ. They just do things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
But my Surface can't run it because it's just not meant for games. Um,
No,
and just like
not at
all the
all.
Command and Conquers, all the Age of Empires, like they're coming out with a new Age of Empires, and I'm not going to be able to play it. So like,
Oh yeah, is it 6 now or
I
7
don't even know, man. But like,
or 4?
I
I don't.
would love
But
to
I heard
play
about
it.
it. I heard about it. Yeah.
But like even back in the day, if I had you know a PC, I could have played my Command and Conquer, which I loved, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like having a PC would have been nice.
That's true. That's true. I did have a PC, but not a good one. We mainly just played educational games on it. But back then, educational games were actually really
Did you
good
play that one
and
that was
really
like
fun.
that you it was like a platformer, and like it was this evil doctor, and then you played as this kid, and like you would race things like air balloons, cars, motorcycles, planes, and like it was a platformer, and you had to like platform to get like the parts, and you'd have to do like math problems at certain points to like defeat enemies, and you got like better parts to make your car go faster.
I don't remember a platforming game.
Dude,
I mean,
I
I'm
can't
not. I'm
remember
not saying
that
I
game,
didn't
but
play
that
it.
game was
I'm
amazing.
not saying I didn't play it. I just don't remember it. I only remember a small handful that I can recall top of my head. I used to play.
Mm.
Did you play Putt Putt?
Yeah, play putt putt.
So yeah, Putt Putt, the racing, the little racing thing. Man, we are dating ourselves.
Dude, I
So yeah,
love
Putt
like
Putt.
getting different paint jobs for putt putt. That
Oh man,
was
I like
that
Putt
was
Putt
it,
goes to the
bro.
circus. Putt Putt goes to the zoo. Putt Putt goes on like what all the I played on all the Putt Putt games.
Yeah,
Pajama Sam. I
I
played
think I
Pajama
remember that
Sam,
one.
which was made by the same people. Um,
Yeah.
when I was in college, my first second year, I was getting a huge nostalgia trip, and I was like, "Is there any way I can actually play that today, like in the current day?" So I was looking. I spent an entire night trying to figure out how to do it. And
There's emulators.
I'm not. Well, back then, I don't think they were as prevalent. Maybe they were, but no one was telling me emulator stuff. Or maybe they were. No, they were. But like, you have to like. It wasn't as simple as it is now. So like, I had to figure out files, and like, since the game is so old, you have to do certain things. Um, and you had to do all this and that, blah blah blah. And I finally got it at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I got it to work, and I was playing Pajama Sam, and I was living life. It was great. I even showed my mom because she remembers us playing those, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I remember that." I was like, "I know, I got it." So that was fun, but I played Math Blasters as a lot of people
Yeah,
did. Map
yeah.
Blasters. I played those ones. There was a game called Cross Terrain Challenge, which was
Don't
kind of
remember
a
that one.
more hip, kind of a hip learning game. It was like full of like extreme and cool, and, all that type of shit. But I loved it.
I
But it was
definitely
an
remember
educational
Math
game.
Blasters.
It was definitely an educational game as well, though. But they had like their own spell
Typing of
on
the
it.
Dead. Did you ever
I
play?
didn't play. I didn't play
You
that.
didn't
I
play
didn't play
Typing
that.
of the Dead?
But there's another game. I don't remember the name of it, but it took place in like kind of like a high fantasy setting, and you had to do a bunch of math stuff and other things like that. And I love the shit out of that game. But yeah, and real quick about the N64. So I have them for a tiny little while. I don't know why. I had a PlayStation, an N64, and a Sega, all at different times.
Sega.
Sorry, a Genesis, all at different times. I believe. Not at the same time, but I don't know why I had them all at different times. I don't remember me like begging and like saying like I want this one. Like, no, I don't want that anymore. I want this. I don't remember doing that, so I don't know why I had them. But
Uh,
fun thing about N64, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. I had played that for PlayStation, and I played it for N64. And I like the N64 version better because the sound effects. So when you do a special move, you get a special little noise that
yeah,
usually happens.
like the ching or whatever.
Yeah,
I can't.
dun, or whatever,
Yeah.
something like that. But when you get the hidden tape in each level, you get another little noise to let you know you got it. I liked the noise. So okay, and on the PlayStation version, the noise that you get for the special tape is the noise for special moves in the N64. And since you do more special moves, then you get secret tapes naturally. I like hearing that noise more in the 64 version. That's just a side thing, and I was always confused as a kid, like why was it
Yeah.
Like, why? I didn't understand why. So, but I was like, I like that better on the 64, and I wish that was what it was on PlayStation. That's just a little side thing. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the
Main
main story here.
topic.
So we are going to discuss the
Yeah.
PlayStation Showcase from a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago. I know we're a little late to the party, but I wanted to talk about it. And David even watched a little bit of it, which is exciting. He's not even a PlayStation guy, really. So, but it was good to see that he caught up on it and caught the main points. I wrote down everything, like what was like done on it. We're not going to talk about everything, but I'm going to list off some of just the quick things that don't really need that much discussion.
Unless I think it does.
I mean, I would imagine. Okay, so GT7, it got announced for PS4 and PS5.
Yep.
Which I was a little surprised about. I thought it would be a PS5 game. And then they show some more footage of Deathloop, which, by the way, is getting like 10 out of 10s and everywhere.
I can't wait for it to come to Xbox.
It's gonna be a freaking Game of the Year contender for sure. So that was shown more of Blood Hunt. That's a game that's set in the Vampires Masquerade universe, but it's a battle royale game. Yeah. So that was shown more of, but none of us really big on that stuff. So moving on, they showed more of the Guardians of the Galaxy game, and honestly, it still just seems okay at best.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that they're making a more first person, narrative driven, action game.
Third person, but yeah.
I meant third person. I don't know why I said first. Third person, game without any like bullshit, no microtransactions, stuff like that.
Especially after the letdown of the Suns one, the Marvel.
The DC thing, right?
No. It was Marvel's Suns.
Is that Marvel as well?
Yeah. No, it's just Marvel.
No, it's DC.
No,
because Blade is in it. Wait, Blade Marvel?
Blade's Marvel.
Blade was DC.
No, Blade's Marvel.
Okay, whatever.
Because there's a lot of controversy between of that game and how they're kind of,
because I mean, it's supposed to be like an XCOM game, right?
Yes, but it has a deck building mechanic as well, which people.
Oh gosh, fuck. We're not even going to talk about it. We're not even going to move on. So like Guardians of the Galaxy was shown, whatever. They show more of the Ghostwire Tokyo, which that seems really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would play. It seems more a game you would play.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
But yeah, so they showed more of that, which was cool to see. We haven't heard much about that for a while.
No.
So it was good to see that. And then they announced really quickly GTA 5 is coming to PS5 and Xbox X1 or X Series.
Surprise. No one thought that was going to happen.
Okay, you're being facetious. All right. You looked like you were surprised.
What next? Are they going to bring Skyrim to the PlayStation 5?
Bro, I hope they do. Because
they absolutely are.
And the reason, it is. They already announced it.
Yeah,
it is
I thought that.
it
was. Yeah.
And I might actually grab it this time because the reason why is because I hope it's optimized for the systems with the SSDs for the faster load times.
Because that was
loading in to a Skyrim load save. I've watched it. That shit takes forever, and I do not want to wait that long every time I boot the game up. So I might actually grab that when it comes eventually. Then they showed again at more Alan Wake Remastered, which I'm personally really excited for because finally PlayStation players can play it, and it's not necessarily a horror game. It's just a cool thriller game, and I can get down with that. And especially since it's connected to Control, I definitely want to play that to then see how Control is connected to it. So I will definitely be playing Alan Wake eventually on that as well. One thing I think is really important though is that they're calling it Alan Wake Remastered, not remake, which obviously is a really big distinction nowadays. We know what remakes are now. And
there's a remake we're going to be talking about. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So that, I mean, it looks better than your average remaster since we're skipping 2 generations.
Yeah.
But it is not a remake. So I don't think it's being built from the ground up like, remakes would be.
Yeah.
So that's a very important distinction to make. And then they showed more of the Rainbow Six Extraction game, which it's just regular Rainbow Six at this point. Honestly, I feel like Rainbow Six is getting where Madden's at, of just like fucking same old bullshit. Like the last time we got really excited was The Division, and after that just became okay at best.
Of the Tom Clancy games you're talking about.
Well, I mean, what Rainbow Six doesn't have Tom Clancy with it?
Yeah, but they're not the same games.
Oh, wait, what?
There's a distinct difference between Rainbow Six
Oh,
and
oh, Rainbow
Division.
and well, they all have Tom Clancy. They're all the fucking same to me. The only huge Rainbow Six or Tom
Tom
Clancy
Clancy
games under the Tom Clancy, the only
umbrella.
big
Yeah.
ones. I guess okay, take away Splinter Cell. That itself is that to me is separate. Splinter Cell, that's separate to me. But everything else is all the same. Um, the only big ones that I know of were the Vegas and Vegas 2. Those were the only huge ones that I can recall out of the whole lineage of all those Tom Clancy games. Maybe some people I know there's big fans of Hawks, but as far as more widespread appeal, Vegas and Vegas 2, I remember those being huge games. But just as of late, anything attached to the Tom Clancy name just seems to just be
I get you.
just the same old shit. The
I get
same
you.
whether it's first person or third person, squad based or mission, like whatever. It's just all this fucking same. And so, oh wait, I guess now Siege is the biggest thing ever, but
Which is under
it
Rainbow
wasn't when it
Six.
came out. It wasn't when it came out. I can tell you that. But like, anyways, whatever. More of that was shown. They explained more of the Tiny Tina game, which seems like a really cool spinoff.
Yeah, I'm excited for
Um,
that.
I mean, Tiny Tina is a fan favorite character. I'm surprised her voice though, because she's older now, but her voice sounds the
That's
same.
voice actors for you.
I
Though.
would I would expect it to sound a little bit older.
I mean, the character is not older. So.
Oh, you mean the voice
No,
actress?
the character is not older.
Tiny Tina is older now.
Yeah,
She visibly looks older.
only from the second Borderlands. Borderlands 3, she's an adult now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but she sounds the same.
She sounds a little bit different.
Okay, but this spinoff, isn't it taking place within the Borderlands 3 time period?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say though. It's still Tiny Tina, but she's in the game she's older,
Yes.
but she sounds the same. That's what I'm saying. She just sounds similar. But she visibly looks a lot older. So it's like,
Have you played
but
3 yet?
this is nitpicking. I have not. I don't even have it.
Okay.
I haven't played the pre-sequel yet. So yeah, then that was shown. And then they announced really briefly the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection for PS5 and PC.
Mm-hmm.
So PC owners are really pumped about that. But PlayStation owners are kind of disappointed, and myself included. I don't know why you would skimp, and not just not no. Why skip it? Not just include the other three, the first three with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Uncharted 4 and the Lost Legacy collection, which okay, I get it. That should be brought over, but like you already remastered 1, 2, and 3 for PS4. You already have the code for the PS4 version. Fucking just port it to the PS5. I guess you could just do it backward compatible, but like still, like why not just put it as one collection? I don't get it. I don't think I can't imagine it being that hard to do, but whatever. So that was briefly looked over. So that was the quick stuff. Now I saved everything else for stuff we can actually really have a discussion. But that's me. What you're thinking of is me last. That's last.
Come on. All right, fine.
It's last. So we're gonna start off with God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok was shown off.
Big Daddy Thor
in detail
was shown off.
More Big Daddy Thor was shown, and he has his blades now. Which I don't know if he got him in the. I don't know if he gets them in the end of the game. But it was cool to see him with his blades again, or some kind of blades. So that was interesting.
He does get those back.
And it's okay. It's interesting how they tie his Greek stuff back to with the Midgar, Nordic stuff. So that's cool. And Atreus looks visibly older, which is cool. And the cool thing about his will actually won't have the same thing as Tina because the kid, a kid actually voiced him in the initial game. So not only is Atreus older, but so is the voice actor. So it makes his voice will actually sound as old as he's gone. I don't know how much time has passed. I don't know if they announced how much time has passed, but he visibly he looks taller. Atreus looks taller. He has like some cool outfit on, and he's getting more rebellious, which is hilarious. It's like teen angst at its finest. Like Kratos is like the last parent on on any planet to be able to handle teen angst. Like
and you just starting the game like that kind of is a playthrough, like a story thread in the first game too.
Oh, I mean, I can see it. It's always
and for
up.
other story reasons as well. You'll find out why he's.
But like, it's always
so
coming up,
rebellious.
which is it's just funny. It's just funny. So yeah. So I was showing up. Did you hear like there was a tiny little bit of controversy about Thor?
Well, there was
about how he's portrayed.
so yeah, so there is this one. So you have this overarching, like, most of society knows Thor's character from the MCU. So there was a lot of people that was expecting him to look like that.
Super handsome, shredded, super
Exactly.
lean,
And then you also had some
stuff,
people that, like, when they saw the more, like, bigger Thor, they're like, oh, this is a call out to what he looks like in Endgame. And like the big fat Thor. And so they're like, oh, this must be a call out to that. And then all of the North mythology heads, or anyone who knows,
they're just like, no,
who knows about
idiots.
Norse mythology, was like, no, this is just Thor. Like, this is
actually fucking Thor.
So yeah, there was that was pretty funny.
And they actually had a powerlifter actually gave comments on it and was saying, like, he looks like how like a powerlifter would look, which is how Thor is supposed to be, with like the power belly and, like, you know, the more stockiness and all that stuff. Like, and I have seen Thor portrayed as that. And like I actually in Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all places.
Because that's his description.
Because they had because they had a bunch of cards on Nordic gods back in, I think, in the 5Ds era. Shout out to those who know about that. But and I remember he was kind of more portrayed in that kind of more stockier. I mean, he's still huge because he was a god, but he wasn't the lean, shredded caricature that we've seen, that we've grown to know. Which, I mean, this all kind of just tells you how many fucking casuals there are in the world, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when something's so overwhelmingly popular, that's just who Thor is now. Like, it's just how our world works. Like, if something is that popular as MCU is, that's why Iron Man will always be Robert Downey Jr. Like, from now on, Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. Captain America is Chris Evans. Like, that's just who they are now. Like, and they, like, the comics books change their appearances in the comic book to match Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.
Did they?
Yes, because
Holy
that's
crap.
Who they are now. So, like, that's just how media works.
Influence.
Yeah.
The power of influence. But I can only imagine the people, like the Nordic people or people who we just know, I'm sure they were just losing their minds. And I was like, no, you fucking idiots. Anyways, so that was shown off, which I'm sure that'd be great. I will bring up something kind of on the side though. So God of War is coming for PS4, PS5. Horizon Forbidden West is coming for PS4, PS5. GT7 is coming for PS4, PS5. I'm sure there's other ones too. You know, I know we are still within the first year of the next gen systems, but I do wonder why. I see why. I know why. You don't explain to me why, but I do wonder when they're gonna, like, have the next big first party AAA known IP be for just PS5. You know, like how they do with
when there's systems. Like, this would not have happened if there was systems available.
So if COVID hadn't happened,
well, because you had God of War was announced as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and then they had to change it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So they had to change it. Because there's just no systems out. You know, they're not going to launch arguably their biggest IP of the year when almost no one has systems to play.
I mean, like I said, I know why. I was just wondering. But I do have to. I still can't help but wonder when. That's all. But yeah, I do wonder. You know, I mean, I understand why. I mean, I understand, like, you know, the markets. You know, the lack of consoles, the market. You know, and stuff like. I know all those external factors that they can't control. It still just makes me wonder when, though. It does make me wonder when. Because, I mean, despite all of those challenges, I mean, they had to do it with some IP. And I guess Ratchet became the IP they chose.
Well, and again, so you look at that, right?
But
you look at that,
I do wonder.
And you look at when it was in development for, they didn't have time to change to because there are adjustments that they have to make it workable on the PlayStation 4. And they just didn't have that time. Ratchet and Clank was pretty much done when COVID hit.
Was it? Wait, but COVID hit in 2019 or 20. Like,
yeah, but think about how long a game takes to develop. Like,
so what you're saying, it was too far in development. to where they couldn't. It was just they just
Yeah,
couldn't,
yeah. It was too far along. They
make
would
it
have had to
2019.
delay it, and they weren't willing to
Okay.
delay it.
That's a good point. It still just makes me wonder, regardless. Like what is going to be the next known? I mean, because Returnal, you could say, that's a first party thing now, but like, it's a new IP. I do wonder what's going to be the next known IP from Sony to be, the next big PS5
Yeah, I got you.
only exclusive. I do wonder what it'll be. I do wonder what. I guess Uncharted Legacy of Thieves is coming up for PS5 only, but
That's just a remake.
you could say PC, but I don't really count PC. But yeah, so I guess Deathloop would
It's
count,
on
but
the
that's a new
PlayStation 4.
IP, and that's only a time exclusive. And I guess it's only a
It's on the PlayStation 4.
no, I was gonna say, oh wait, it is. Oh well, regardless, I was gonna say it's also time exclusive. It's not even a full exclusive. But anyways, so that we'll move on from that. Really quick, there was a game, a new game shown by Project Eve. I think that's the studio name. I think they're a Japanese developer. I don't know if you saw this. There's no name for it yet. But the game looks ridiculous. It reminds me of like Platinum game style of like craziness. And it seems like a game literally, like if they had put Platinum Games as the developer, I was like, yeah,
That's
what I expect. Yeah, no, that was totally them. Like it stars like a super hot anime chick. She has like a super crazy sword. She's flipping around everywhere. She's doing all types of cybernetic stuff. It seems to have like some kind of a cyberpunk flavor to the game. It looks super like what was shown looks super crisp, super nice. I was like, yeah, this looks like a Platinum Games game, but it's it's from Project Eve, I guess. That game looks fucking dope. I will definitely get that when it drops. I don't know I don't remember if it was a next gen exclusive or it was going to be on both. I don't remember, but that game looks dope as hell. I think that's it. Just only one more thing.
What are you talking about? You're missing two big things before we talk about that thing.
Really?
Wolverine and Spider-Man.
They're not. Why wasn't that on the fucking Sony's? Okay, I pulled this shit from literally from Sony's, from Sony's website.
Okay, so
and they didn't include that. But you're right.
I will bring this up. All right, so Insomniac. Not only are they dropping Spider-Man 2, which will have both Miles Morales and Peter Parker, it's gonna have freaking Venom in it. It's gonna have Green Goblin.
Isn't Doc Ock it?
I don't think
Doc Ock's the main villain.
No, Doc Ock was the main villain from the first one.
Well, they showed off Doc Ock.
Well, he might be there, but he was a main villain from the first one. But no, it's gonna be Green Goblin, Venom, who is Harry Osborn in this game, and probably the hot guy, the old dude that's a bird. Anyway, so there's that, which obviously is awesome. Venom is, the new Venom movie with Carnage is going to be amazing. Can't wait for that. So that's coming out at a really good time. That's going to be amazing. We all know how good Spider-Man is. But then Insomniac is also making a Wolverine game. Which like it's not going to be like the Wolverine game on the 360 and PlayStation 3. That was actually really, really good, and it had like dismemberment, and like it was really brutal. But I'm hoping it'll be like, it's Insomniac, so it's going to be good, and I hope they do lean more into the brutalness of it, which it kind of looked by the trailer. He obviously killed everyone in that bar. So like I'm hoping that because like Spider-Man and Batman, like they explain away the deaths. Like Spider-Man has the whole like if you knock somebody off the building, as like somehow he put a web bomb that would catch the guys somehow, like whatever. And same kind of thing with Spider-Man, with Batman. I hope that that they're like, no, these guys are dead. Like he just stabbed him through the heart, because like it was very much in the trailer. Like these guys are not like, they weren't like groaning or moving around or anything. Like they were just like leaning over shit and just dead. So super looking forward to that. But that's that. We all know how good Insomniac's going to be. Let's talk about the next one.
No, hold on. I have some thoughts. On that, because I saw that and I was excited for everyone else being excited. I haven't played Marvel Spider-Man just yet. I'm sure whenever I do, it'll be great. I'll have a good time. And I'm sure Miles Morales will also be great.
Have not played that.
And I know the Wolverine game will be. I mean, it's interesting they're going back to Wolverine because Wolverine, as some of you guys may or may not know, well, actually, the OGs know, but for someone who doesn't, so there was a Wolverine game that came out in 2011 or something for the PS3 and 360, way back, and it was heralded as literally the only good superhero
Back in the
movie
day.
or like kind of related
Yeah.
game that was actually any
That was the
good.
one I
It
was
was
talking
the
about.
only one. And it didn't even get like tens, and it was still like, this is the best. We were so happy with that game. It was the only. It's still, and it kind of up until the Batman Arkham series. No, because DC. No, okay, Batman came out first. I think it was tied to the movie. It was a movie tie-in
For
game.
the
It was the
Wolverine,
only good movie
like,
tie-in
and
game.
it wasn't even
Next
like
to Wolverine Origins or whatever.
tie-in. It was a
wasn't really. It
completely
wasn't.
separate story. It just launched
Yeah.
congruently with Origins and was called Origins.
It was a tie-in game, but not with the source material. It was like the only good one, and it only got like 7s, maybe some 8s, and it was still like, no, this is the like I played the demo and I was like, yeah, I can see why this game is great, like because it leaned on that rated M, kind of like how like Deadpool needed to have been a rated R movie. You know what I mean? Like Wolverine had to be rated M, and like, oh man, it's the best. So it was great to see that it's getting some love again because it already has a good track record, and so I know it'll be great. However, I am cautious now with Insomniac because they just brought out Ratchet and they left that game open to a possible sequel. And now, then they just did Miles Morales not too long ago. Now they're working on Spider-Man 2, which that's going to be that has to be AAA to the max for sure. Wolverine is also coming out concurrently, and I know Insomniac isn't the biggest studio in the world, so as far as employees. So I am wondering about like how they're splitting their staff, splitting their time, because apparently they're, according to at least 2 employees there, they don't push crunch, I guess, as strictly or as strongly as other studios do, and it doesn't seem Sony seems to be pressing them as hard. So because of that too, I do kind of wonder how they split everything up, and then I do also, since I'm a Ratchet purist, like I do wonder, is Ratchet going to suffer because of this? Will it end up being let go? Will we have to wait another 7 years to get a sequel? Will we even get a sequel? Because I care about Ratchet and Clank more than I ever will care about Marvel,
Fair.
as I know, but most people will be the opposite. Because I know a lot of people think Ratchet's a kiddie game, but whatever. Fuck you if you do. Marvel's for kids too. I mean, who dresses up as superheroes? Children. Anyways, so that makes me. It's just a personal thing I wonder about. You don't need to comment on it. It's just something I just needed to get off my chest because that was the first thing I when I saw Marvel 2, I was like, okay, cool. They're gonna go from one game to another, splitting, jumping one IP back and forth. Some studios do that, but then Wolverine came out, and I was like, oh no, what's happening here? What is happening? Anyways, okay, so now we're at the last thing. I saved it for last, which is ironic because it was actually the first thing they announced.
And they had
at the
the
start
least
of the showcase.
amount of like any kind of
yeah,
video.
and it had like the shortest announcement or anything. And it is
freaking Tor.
KOTOR Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is getting a remake.
Yes.
Okay, that game, this is such a big deal that even me, who I have never played that game, never even wanted to play that game, never even, but I know about its legacy, I know about its importance, I know about how good it is. Even I lost my mind when I saw
for
that
anyone who hasn't played,
I could not
for anyone.
Explain to us, David, though. Explain KOTOR.
For anyone who hasn't ever played KOTOR, if you've played Mass Effect and you've loved Mass Effect, then thank KOTOR, because it's the only reason that BioWare exists today, because they made this game. So KOTOR is a story in the Star Wars universe, like thousands and thousands of years before the very first episode 1 in the movie verse, and it is the best BioWare has done. Like 1, 2 Mass Effect, even 3 was very, very good, but like they still never did better than what they did at KOTOR. Like there's a huge twist ending that just blew people's minds. The amount of customization you can do it as your character, like everybody was a Jedi. Like no one's not gonna like have a lightsaber, but like you didn't have to. You could be like a bounty hunter only kind of guy and like only have guns and stuff, and there was dialogue and a whole bunch of memorable characters and like it is the best, in my opinion, the best Star Wars media, period. Like it's better than the movies, it's better than the cartoons. Some of the comics are actually pretty good, but they're just not well known. Some of the books are also pretty good, just not well known. But it is so good, and just what this like what we always wanted. Like when we heard that the Star Wars license was going to be picked up and made board games, like the first thing anyone said was like fucking KOTOR 3, like in that realm. And then we fucking got, Battlefield Star Wars, and then Jedi.
Oh, Star Wars Battle.
What's it called? See, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Battlegrounds, Battlefield,
Shit.
Battle.
Battle Star Wars. It's the they kept the same name, but it's from the PS2. They kept the same name, but it's not the same game. But they kept the same name, and I now no longer can remember the name.
Anyway,
at all. They have bastardized it that much that now I lost the name, and I used to know it because my brother played the shit out of that on the PS2 back in the day.
Whatever. Jedi Fallen Order was okay, but like we haven't had a
okay. What do you mean okay?
It's
okay. Hot takes. I'll take a side of butter with that high take.
Anyway, but this is what we wanted.
Only decent?
This is what we wanted. And I just want to say that if it is not a timed exclusive, I will cry.
So. Yeah. Okay, real quick, before we get to that point. If Fallen Order is okay, then what was Force Unleashed?
Also okay.
Because Fallen Order is better than Force Unleashed, by far.
The second one, yes. I would say out of pure enjoyment, I enjoyed the first Unleashed more than Fallen Order.
Holy crap. I was not expecting to come to this today.
I will say this, right? The reason I believe that is because Fallen Order's gameplay is Souls-esque.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't do it as well as Souls. So I just didn't enjoy it as much as Souls. Like if it was more like a hack and slash, I think I would have enjoyed it much, much more. But like as I was playing Fallen Order, I was just like, the only thing I was thinking was, I should play Dark Souls again. And then I went and played Dark Souls.
But then what makes you play Souls on Force Unleashed and not think I should play Devil May Cry?
Well, one because I never played Devil May Cry that much, and because
all right,
anyway.
No. Dave is an outlier, people. Don't listen to him. He's an idiot. Anyways, yeah. So the big thing that was announced after the fact, after the showcase, was that KOTOR is going to be a timed exclusive.
Is it confirmed that it's timed exclusive? Because there was a lot of PlayStation 4 bros that was like, "Oh yeah, it's an exclusive." I'm like, "There's no way. There's no way it's an exclusive."
I don't think Sony has enough money to pay for that. It is a timed exclusive at launch. I don't know how long. Maybe 6 months. Maybe a year.
Whatever.
I can't see it being any longer than a year. But they somehow fucking got it. I can't believe they got it. Exclusive. I mean, I don't think it needed it. I don't think Sony really benefits that much from it, but it's happening. So I don't think it's gonna make people like. I mean, because you can't get really either console. I guess the Xbox is slightly easier to get, but like, I don't think it's gonna make people who are mostly Xbox buy a PlayStation 5. I think they'll just wait.
No.
Especially since the prices. I mean, since bitches and scalpers are still at large with these things. But yeah, that was a huge shocker. People weren't
No,
expecting
because it
that,
wasn't
and
leaked at
I know
all
a lot of
either.
people were going to
Like
be
I
upset.
did not heard it at
Yeah, actually, yeah,
all.
that didn't get leaked. That didn't get leaked.
Like
That didn't get
there's
leaked at
been a
all. Yeah, that's
couple
crazy. Yeah, it didn't even get
announcements
leaked.
but there were huge announcements that just like didn't get leaked, which is weird. Like we're in a
Hmm.
like just a where everything is leaked now. And we've had this,
Yeah,
and then there was
Sony
something else
really
that
kept it under
I can't
wraps.
remember what it was too. That was a big announcement that also didn't get leaked.
Well, I didn't know about the
Yeah,
Wolverine
no, I
game.
didn't know about that either. So
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about the Project Eve game.
I don't think people are looking
I
for
had
that,
heard
but
something
yeah.
about God of War. I know, but it didn't get leaked. But I didn't see anything about Grand Theft. I mean, I saw. I mean, some games already known about, so it's like whatever. Like God of War was already known. Gran Turismo was already known. Some of the things were already known. So it was like whatever. Even if it was
So
leaked, it's like
what I will say,
whatever.
to get this big thought out before we wrap things up, is that I was already eventually going to get a PlayStation 5. Oh yeah,
Were you
oh yeah,
really?
yeah.
Were you really? Hey, you didn't what? Why am I finding this out the same time you guys
Of
are?
course I was.
Were you?
Like
We were gonna be
I mean,
PlayStation 5
eventually
buddies?
it's gonna be a while.
What?
It's gonna be a long
What?
while. Like
Holy
the
crap!
PlayStation
I had no
6 might get
idea.
announced before I buy a PlayStation 5, but like I'll get it eventually. And it's mostly because I already knew that like I wanted to play God of War 2 on a PlayStation 5. I wanted to play the new Spider-Mans on a PlayStation 5. Like I will give PlayStation this. Their exclusives are just better at this point. Like I think that Xbox can do a lot with the Bethesda and all the other studios that they bought, but as of right now, PlayStation just has the exclusives. So and just seeing this and really like remembering how good Spider-Man was and how good God of War was, I was just like, oh shit, I really want to play these games.
I remember you actually. I mean, on The Last of Us 1, you bought a PS3. You returned it right after you're done, but you literally made room in your room, make space for your room to get a PS3, which you had never owned before, just so
Yeah,
you could play Last of Us. And, so that kind of attests to the power of PlayStation exclusives. And I agree. I mean, because Xbox has bought like what 12, 13
they
studios.
bought
We have
so
like 12,
many.
13 now in-house studios, which is great for them. But I don't think we're gonna see like the fruits of that probably not until like the end of this
It'll be a
generation
while for sure.
cycle. Um, I know we'll get exclusives, but I don't think they're going to be at the
So
caliber as Sony's right now.
it's
They need to
been
work out
it's
some
been it
kinks.
hasn't been 100% confirmed, but there's been a lot out of the Xbox camp that Starfield might be an exclusive, which would be a huge one.
I thought it was
I
already announced
I,
as
I
exclusive.
don't know if they've
I thought they already
announced it
said it was.
fully. Like I think maybe it's
I
just
thought they
PlayStation people
did.
holding out hope. Um,
I'm not.
I think that'll
I
be a
swear I
I
saw
think
articles
that'll
earlier
be a
this year
big
that said it,
one if it's good.
and it will, even if it's not the be fucking greatest thing since sliced bread. It will still be. I'm
Yeah,
sure it'll still be good, at least bare minimum good. Which will be a big deal for Xbox, which is great for them. But that's just one game,
yeah,
right? That's just
yeah.
one game, and so I don't think we're going to see a huge slew, a constant like how Sony has these just constant slews of exclusives from big known developers. We're not going to get that yet until towards the end of the generation cycle, and I think whatever the next one's going to be, I think Xbox is going to come swinging with those exclusives. I think that's when they'll, because I think like they're going to eventually because I mean they'll have exclusives come out. I don't think they're going to be the greatest. Maybe you'll have one or two that could break the mold, but I think a lot of them are going to be like okay because they're still working this shit out. And especially the in-house like it took. I mean, not like God of War. I mean, I guess God of War did start off great, but like it's not all of them started out wonderful. They have to work stuff out. Really find their groove as a studio. And as that time goes on and they put out a couple games, one or two games, and they really get things going, they're going to go to the stratosphere and they'll finally be at a level where Sony is at, exclusives
Yeah.
wise, which will be great because then it'll push Sony to be even better. And we're just going to, competition breeds, what creativity or whatever. Is that the saying? Or originality or whatever.
Yeah,
It's going to be great for
to wrap
us.
it up, I think this was a really good showing for PlayStation. I think that it's kind of obviously not a whole lot of shockers. We knew God of War was coming out. We knew a new Spider-Man was going to come out. They did hit us with a couple of really big surprises, but I think this just reiterates their strengths. And I think it was good. I think that them, unfortunately not having the ability to put PlayStation 5s out is still hurting them. But I mean, this showing was definitely good from them.
This was the only one I've actually seen like live, because they've had a few now, and this was the only one I think I've seen live, and I'm happy I did. It was 40 minutes. I mean, it was probably about the same length as an E3 showing. I would
Yeah,
imagine. I think if they were at E3s, so it was about the same length. It was in the same format as what they had done in the last few E3s that they were a part of. Just no bullshit, no people talking for no reason, just trailer after trailer after trailer, and it worked. It was great. We got to see like what you wanted. It was a little bit of everything for everybody. You had the racing stuff, third person stuff, first person stuff. Different genres, different things. A little bit for everybody to be excited about. And since there's no PS5 still out really at all, PS4 people still have a lot to look forward to as well, and they're not just being left in the dust. And it's not just that they're being left in the dust too. Like I think we're actually gonna this generation we're actually gonna see um, the games that are coming from both systems. The last gen systems are actually going to be good because you might remember from the last generation shift, if a game did come out for the previous one, the PS3 360, those ports were generally garbage a lot of the time. I think I told you about the Shadows of Mordor PS3 port. It is horrendous, and I know that's not the only game that had that problem. And so, but I feel like with these ones, and for Xbox as well, they had to be made with both systems in mind from the start because of this crisis
yeah,
that is going on and the shortages of systems. So people are actually going to be happy getting like they have to get the PS4 version for Spider-Man, Wolverine, even Deathloop, anything. It's going to be a good version of it. It's not going to be bare bones, stripped down. You could tell they didn't even work on it. There's no QA on it. It won't happen this time, which is good because a lot of people, even if they wanted to get one, they can't. So
yep,
yeah. But anyways, that
yep.
wraps us up.
So
That was a
yeah,
little
let us know
long.
what you guys thought about the announcements. If if this pushed you to maybe try to find a PlayStation 5 sooner to be able to play these games. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of all these games being announced on both? Like, are you happy about that because you can't get your hands on the PlayStation 4? Are you not because you really want this next generation to start, which it really hasn't felt like it's started yet because of stuff like this? Just let us know what you guys thought down below. Give us a like, helps out the channel, and yeah, we love you guys.
Yeah, but the like us. That's what the algorithm gets us more searchable. Share this with your family, your friends, your pets, and everything. You know, I don't know what he's doing, but just do whatever you think he's telling you to do. Do that. Um, and also, if you guys like what we're doing, if you guys like the channel, please consider subscribing. Help us out as well. We want to entertain everybody, all the
Yep.
masses. And with that, we're gonna wrap this up. Sorry, this went a little bit over. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.